Give me a hands up or a wave or a reaction. If you've ever been in a situation where you've looked at a profit and loss account and you've seen that you've made some profit, and then you look at the bank account and it doesn't seem to agree. Yeah, we're getting quite a lot of waves and looks there. That's good. Yes, and there is a relationship between profit and cash. And hi, Pam. So the relationship between profit and cash is important because we can't spend profit on the P&L. Much as sometimes when people tell me how many Facebook likes they've got, I said, well, we can't spend Facebook likes in Tesco's, and you can't spend P&L profit in Tesco's either. You can only spend cash. So the first thing I'd like to show you before we get on to improving the cash is looking at how we can predict what our cash will look like. So who here has got, give me a wave or a thumbs up if you've got in some form a cash flow forecast at the moment. Great. So we are preaching to the choir here. Now, just as if you go to the reactions, give me a round of applause, clap, if your cash flow forecaster is like a 12-month forward one, or it's a much short, or give me a thumbs up if it's a rolling 12 weeks shorter term. So I'd just be interesting to see the room. So we've got a real mixture between the 12 weeks, yeah, probably a 50-50 split into the 12 weeks and the 12 months ones. It's useful to have the 12-month one because it's part of your budget. It's quite easy to do. But it's also important to have the really short-term one. I'm just going to screen share with you an example here. There we go. Let me just bear with a second, because I now can't see you. There we go. Just give me a nod if you can see my screen. Yep, good. Okay. So this is a sample, a 12-week rolling cash flow. And you've got an opening balance at the top. You've got cash in here. You've got cash out. You've got a closing balance. So as you can see in this example, which is one that I've used, it is a client that I've changed to make it more dramatic because that's actually quite a healthy cash flow. I've butchered it to make it a bit more unhealthy. As you can see here, in this week on the 20th of June, we've got a big lump of cash out and not much coming in, but we've got a lot coming in the next month. So it's really, really simple to look at that and go, okay, this is the only week that we've got a problem, so we can do something about that. We can move some payments around, we can get temporary overdraft or something like that. I'm not going to linger on cash flow forecasts too much for you guys because pretty much everybody on the call has got one. I just wanted to show you the importance of, if you have only got the long-term one, which is great for your strategic planning, but for your more immediate needs of, can I make payroll this month and things like that, the importance of having the weekly one as well. So it's really important that you've got that close to now details so that you can make good business decisions going forward. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next thing I want to show you, which is the cash flow improver spreadsheet here that I've got. Okay, so if you can see here, and this is when I try and learn to point with a cursor, not my finger, because of course you can't see it if I point at stuff. We've got an example business here that's got 12 months. This is a 12-month period. The business does £5 million. £3 million of that is cost of sales. So cost of sales will be a mixture of labor and material that is directly related to the sale that you make. So this fluctuates as your sales go up and down. Your overheads are your office costs and your things. They're the ones that pretty much stay the same through the months. Your receivables or your debtors, that's what people owe you. Your inventory will either be the materials that you're holding to sell or to use, or if you're service-based, that might be work that you are doing or have done that hasn't been invoiced yet. As soon as it gets invoiced, it goes on to the debtors. But if you're a service-based industry and you're in the middle of a job and you've been working on, like I know Gary's doing designs, if he's in the middle of some work, he's done a certain amount of work, that will go into the work in progress. And the payables and creditors, that is what you owe out to other people. Fairly simple stuff. Give us a nod if you're all okay. No questions with that. Good. Okay. So what we're now looking at is we've got a business here that's got a 40% gross margin and a 10% net margin. Now, what this business also is telling, this spreadsheet is also telling us that 15% of our revenue is needed to get the wheels moving through the business. So we are 15% of our money we need to pay for staff and keep things moving. Our marginal cash flow, that's the difference between our investment in working capital and our gross margin. So if that gets negative, that's when we're really going to struggle, because we're behind the 8 ball there. Ideally, I would like to see a business where the investment in working capital is lower than the net profit. Then you know you're in really good shape. And this business isn't too far off that. So what we've got here is debtor days at 47.5, inventory days at 36.3, and creditor days at 24.3. And the cash gap is 60 days. So it costs from starting a project to getting paid, and from when you start paying money out on a project, it takes 60 days for you to get your money back in this business. So now, I promised everybody in the emails and things I sent out that I will show you how to make a massive impact on that. And it's a process that we start on, we call it the power of 1. So really simply, if I'm going to look at changing each of these 7 levers here by 1%, we'll see what the impact is. So first of all is reducing the cost of sales. Now, cost of sales is the work that you're doing. So the main 2 ways that we can reduce the cost of sales is to buy better materials, buy cheaper materials, get bulk discounts, etc. Or the easiest way is to remove the labor, what I call soft efficiency. So if we're doing projects, the reason that the gross profit will fluctuate is because sometimes it takes us longer to do a project than it should be, or we've not priced it right. It takes an extra day to fulfill that work, and that's what affects our gross profit. Next thing is overheads. So looking at your standing cost, your internet, your office, all that kind of thing. So increasing sales volume. So that is something through extra marketing. So are we going to sell more of our stuff? Increase prices is obvious. Now those first 4 will all affect profit and loss, profitability. But the next 3 won't necessarily. And this is why the relationship between cash and profit is different. So reducing debtor days, that won't show up on your P&L, but it'll definitely show on your cash flow, is people paying you sooner. Reducing inventory days. And the reason that most people have high inventory, let's just say you normally hold £50,000 worth of stock. Now that won't, you'll go down to 40 and you'll top it up to 50, down to 40, up to 50. So it won't really affect your profit and loss. It affected you at the start when you got up to 50,000, but not now. But if you were to reduce that, it goes to 40 and you don't resupply up to 50, then you'll definitely notice an improvement in your profitability and your cash flow. The last thing is creditor days, is how quickly you pay your suppliers. So I want you to get in the chat box. What we're going to do is I'm going to put into this spreadsheet a change of 1% or 1 day of each of those 7 levers. So I want you to, just for a bit of fun, put into the chat box what impact in terms of cash flow, because it's going to tell us not how much more profitable the business will be, but how much cash will be left with extra by making these tweaks at the end of the year. So I'm going to put 1% or 1 day in each of those. Have a guess as to how much impact that's going to have on the cash flow of this business after 12 months. I'll just wait while you put that into the chat box. Don't overthink it too much. Just put some numbers in. Let's see who's nearest. 15%. Oh, in real terms, Gary, in actual cash, not in percentage. 200K, 200K, 20K, 150. 600K. I think I might be about to disappoint Frank. Great. Okay. I just wondered what your thoughts were. So we're going to put one in each of these boxes. And that's going to make £132,000 impact in the cash in the bank at the end of the year. And that is by changing each of those things by 1%. But when I look at this spreadsheet, when I look at this business here, there's a couple of things that jump out at me. One is that we are paying our creditors at 24 days. Now, most creditors will assume that the industry standard of 30. So maybe what we're doing here in this business is our debtor days are 47, our creditor days are 24. So we're paying out much quicker than we're receiving. So if we were to look at that business and go, okay, well, hang on a minute, our terms of credit are 30 days and we're getting paid at 47. Now just give me a wave or a hands up if that is not an unusual figure to you, if you've experienced 30 days and you're getting paid a lot more than that. Yeah, exactly. Now, there's lots of strategies we've got that to improve that. Having a really robust strategy for, but in the simple truth is that we're because we're English and we're polite, we don't like to ask, and in some cases we're not even asking our clients. We're on 30 days. We don't even mention it to them until it's 45 days. You know, we should be mentioning it to on 31 days. That's an agreement that we had. If that's our mindset, at 30, we want to be paid on time. And we do it in a firm and fair and friendly way, but that's how we expect, and we position the relationship at the start. I mean, some clients, will there be clients that always pay a little bit late? Yes, of course there are. Will we, if they pay really late and we fully understand the impact on our business of that, will we sometimes stop working with those? Or that actually might work out viable to stop working with those people, because even though they're adding profit, they're killing our cash flow. So if I now look at this business and go, do you know what? We're at 47 debtor days. I know there's Paul on from DebtCol here. Debtor days is something he specializes in. He's really good at what he does. So if you've got any of those customers that are really at 60 or 90 days, get hold of Paul at DebtCol, because that's his business, is to help you collect that money. Give us a wave, Paul, so everyone knows what you look like. So if we're saying, okay, we're at 47 days there, our terms are 30 days, what would happen to if we went to, instead of just the one, and this is a power of one exercise, which we'll repeat every quarter, but just for fun, if we improve that by 10 days, that's an extra £120,000 on our cash flow. And now we look at our creditors and go, do you know what? We've not been treated very well by our customers, and we're treating our suppliers too well. We're paying them too early. So if I was to add 5 days to creditors, we're now looking at £288,000 in extra cash in your bank at the end of the year, just from making those little tweaks. Does that sound doable? Give some nods, give some feedback. Yeah. So how I work that with clients is we'll aim for 1%. We aim for the power of one. We aim for 1 day, 1%, and we will work on each of those 7 levers, and we'll come up with strategies to improve them. Of course, if we aim for 1%, there's a fairly large chance we'll get 2 or 3. If we aim for 1 day, we'll get 2 or 3 anyway. And then every quarter we'll rinse and repeat, and we'll measure and manage these these 7 levers so we can see some improvements. Yeah, what you measure, what you manage, you measure. No, wrong way around. What you measure, you manage. I've actually got someone in this call measuring. I know she is. She'll be measuring how many times I say in this call, because it's something I want to get out of my presentations. Pam, are you listening? How am I doing? She's gone a bit blank. I'll ask her later. Because I know if I measure, last time I did a presentation, it was about 70.
I couldn't get the button pressed. It's you're doing very well.
How many am I on?
8.
8. Oh, great. Well, last time I did a presentation, I was on 70, so that was good. Exactly.
Yeah. No, huge improvement.
Huge improvement. What you measure, you manage.
Yeah.
So I will get all my clients. Okay, thanks, Pam. Back in your box.
Thank you.
I get all my clients now to measure these 7 levers, and just by measuring them, without even doing any action, you will get some improvement on them. You get the magic couple of % anyway, just because you're focused in that way. Then if you're actually putting strategies behind that as well, you can see that you can get that massive improvement in your cash flow. So that's really the end of my presentation. I'm going to unscreen. There's another for you, Pam. I just got another one. Let another one out. Oh, and another one. They're dropping like flies now. It's really hard not to now. So I wanted to give everyone an offer who's on the call to improve their business in that respect. So as you've seen the spreadsheet here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to email everybody after the call and offer you the opportunity for me to run your business numbers through the spreadsheet so we can see how you come out. And then we can get on a call and we can take about half an hour, 45 minutes, and we'll identify where the low-hanging fruit is to improve the cash flow in your business. So I'm gonna email you all and arrange a time for you to do that. Obviously, I'll need those 8 figures out of you. Give us a wave or a hands up if you like the idea of doing that. Great. So I'll email everybody individually out. We'll get on a call, we'll get those numbers, and I'll do a completely free consultation. So we'll highlight probably the 3 to 5 most impactful things that are going to improve your cash flow right now. So that is a completely free gift that I'll be giving to everybody on the call. But I am open for business. I do use these events to find new clients. And at the end of that call, I might offer you if I think that we're a good fit for working together and you fit my profile of potential clients, I may offer you a session to investigate how we could work together on a second call. But the first gift is a freely given gift. There's absolutely no obligation. There's no pitch in that. There's nothing for sale in the first call. The only thing is that at the end of it, if we both agree it's worth investigating how we can work together, we'll do that. Does that make sense that we go ahead on those terms? Great. So that's the end of the presentation. I wanted to be mindful of everyone's time. Is this recorded? Yes, Ian, it is. I've got a recording which I'll put up to LinkedIn. So I'll be really happy for you to share that with anybody, or I'll send it. In fact, I'll send it out to you so you can review it again. So that's the end of the call. It was short and sweet because it's actually not that simple to present. It's, ideas are cheap. It's execution that's the thing. Execution is king. So we're going to have a conversation about how you can actually execute these ideas in your business. So I'm now here for anybody that would like to have a conversation, ask a question, how the spreadsheet works, how any of this stuff works. Otherwise, I wish you farewell, and I'll speak to you soon when I send you an email to arrange to put you through this system.